All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Amadai TV, More Than Meets the Third Eye. I'm your host, Queen QueenAShakur, and this is your spiritual vitamins. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to get in here. I know sometimes the notifications don't go out. Sometimes they come in late. And some people actually tell me they get them the next day. So please pay attention. All right, so with that all being said, today I'm going to be talking about how energy, well, we already know that energy is contagious, but I'm going to be talking about how certain people feed off of your energy, and you need to be careful of that. And also, we're like plants, and I told you this days before, that we have a lot of similarities to plants. And plants can absorb energy from other plants that they're in close proximity to, and people can do the same thing. Okay, so you have to be careful of who you're allowing to absorb your energy. So with that all being said, let's get into it. All right, shout out to all of my Stardusters in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Like so, thank you in advance. Now, humans can feed off of each other's energies just like plants. So let's talk about it. All right. So with that all being said, studies done by or at Bielefeld University have proven that plants can duplicate energy from other plants that are near them. Now, this study also applies to other living creatures, specifically humans. This can lead to further discoveries in the field of bioenergy as well. Now, Professor Olaf Cruz, PhD, led research that discovered that green algae called Chlamydomonas not only photosynthesizes to produce energy, but also originates from other surrounding plants. Now, all of these studies have been published in the magazine called Nature Communications. Humans are just like plants. You see, we need water and sunlight to grow. So when you hear people talking about they have an aversion to the sun, or people who say they hate the sun, because there's people on YouTube who talk about how they hate the sun. Why would you hate the sun? We need the sun to grow and thrive. The sun gives me energy. It should give you energy too, because when you think about it, on a dark, gloomy day when it's rained or it's going to rain, don't you feel tired? Don't you feel bored? Don't you just feel like just lying around, relaxing, eating snacks? You don't really want to go out. You don't want to do anything. But then on the flip side, when the sun's out and it's nice and warm outside, you want to go out there. And when you get out in the sun, don't you feel energized? Okay? And so just pay attention to these things. So our bodies can absorb energy from our surroundings. Now, in case you're wondering why you feel uncomfortable around certain people, well, that might be the reason, okay? That might absolutely be the reason. According to Dr. Olivia Bader-Lee, the things that bother people are mixed emotions and the energy surrounding them. Dr. Olaf Cruz proves that in the case of a lack of energy sources, Chlamydomonas pulls in energy or pulls it from other isolated plants in the form of cellulosic enzymes. Now, these enzymes become simple sugar components. They're digested by the cells as a source of energy. Even when water and light are lacking and conditions are not conducive to photosynthesis, the seaweed doesn't stop growing. You see, this is the first research of this type and the first discovery of its kind. Okay, so now let's talk more about humans and plants, the organisms, and how they're very similar, and how their cells need the energy to reproduce. Okay, the human body needs the energy to overcome certain emotional stages and is also able to produce cortisol in cells to fulfill their emotional needs. Now remember, the hormone cortisol also relates to stress. That's how some people get belly fat, because they start producing too much cortisol, okay, because they're stressed out. Now, Bader Lee also thinks that bioenergy will be easier soon as they keep doing all this research. So some of the things that we need to do to protect the space and energy, or stop the energy from being drained by other people, we must first remain focused and rooted, staying in our spiritual self. That's very important, so that we can feel when a person has entered our space. Okay, you have to be able to have discernment, know when someone is toxic. If you've ever been around someone and you didn't know why, but you just all of a sudden had a sick feeling in your stomach, that's likely because they were toxic. Okay, their energy, their aura. Now, if we're calm, we will liberate the negative energy of other people. And we should not resist by doing that, because we should not resist this, because by doing that, if you don't do it, basically you're going to draw that negative energy to yourself, because again, energy is contagious. And let's not forget the scenario I always tell you about. If you walk into a room, a party or whatever, and everybody's happy and glad to see you, then you feel upbeat, you feel high vibrational. But if you walk into that same room and everybody's looking at you crazy with their noses turned up, like, who told them to come? Who invited them? Then all of a sudden you have an attitude and you have low vibrational energy just like them. And that's because it's absolutely contagious. And that's why it's very important to not allow other people to direct your flow of energy. Okay? We have to protect our energy, because that's a part of our spiritual space. And some people absolutely want to feed off of our energy. And that would be people like the psyche vampires that I've talked about a myriad of times. So let's talk about 7 signs that you're surrounded by people who feed off of your energy. Okay, because you have to pay attention to the company that you keep. Because you don't want someone else's bad energy giving you a hard time or making you have negativity, and then you're drawing more negative things to yourself. Okay, so when it comes to the people that we allow in our circle, we need to be very cautious. You can't just let anyone and everyone get close to you. And you see, this is why I don't like people just touching on me. I don't like people touching on me. And something that I noticed about Kevin Gates one day, I noticed during an interview, this woman touched Kevin Gates on his shoulder, and he dusted it off, and he gave her a funny look. And people are like, oh, he just wiped that off. Some people don't like you touching them because they know that energy is contagious. Okay, and some people who have nefarious energy, they like to touch other people because they want to put their negative energy on you. Because trust me, they also know that energy is contagious. Okay, so sometimes people will do these things on purpose. Now, while it might not always seem like it, there are some bad people in the world who want to do nothing more than use you or drain you of your personal energy. We all have to be careful about who we allow near us or in our spaces, okay? Because the closer a person is, the more damage they can do. Now, if you've ever noticed how your mood changes around certain people, you know exactly what this all means. If you're surrounded by the kinds of people or the right kinds of people, then you'll find that they uplift you. And when they're around, you feel better overall. You know how sometimes you may be feeling down and out, and there's a certain person or people that can call you and just have a word with you, or they come visit or whatever, and all of a sudden you start feeling better. That's because of their flow of energy. There's some people, however, that they just make you feel worse. Okay, and that's because of their flow of energy. Now, being surrounded by the wrong people is exactly the opposite. You see, they leave you feeling out of it, just completely drained, tired, lethargic. And if everything is just worse, or they have you feeling as if everything is just worse overall. But instead of letting those people feed off of you, You need to be willing to cut them out of your life and move on to those who are going to do nothing but bring positive energy into your life, okay? They're going to bring forth the right kind of energy, because this is how you elevate and excel. Other people with a negative, low vibrational energy that want to drain you of yours, those people tend to hold you down. They hold you back, and they tend to say negative things that sometimes you allow to sink into your psyche, and then you end up doubting yourself because you're busy listening to someone who's clearly just someone who's a hater, or someone who just is always pessimistic. And some people can't help themselves. That's just who they are. Okay. So with that all being said, let's talk about the 7 signs that you're surrounded by those who want to feed off of your energy. The first one is you really feel as though they are always taking advantage of you. Rather than helping you in the ways that you help them, these people are always asking you to do things, but they never have anything to do for you. They never reciprocate the kind gesture or the thoughtful words. Okay, they don't want to listen when you're suffering, and unless it's convenient, they don't bother having much to do with you outside of what you can do that benefits them. They see that they're often, or you may see, that these people are often around when things are going good for you. When they feel like something you've got, some type of reward, whether it's money or just, anything that they feel that you're benefiting from, well, they want to come around because they also want to benefit from it. But when they have something, they're nowhere to be found. Okay? They see that you're often willing to do things and tend to ask far too much. They tend to ask far too much of you, to the point that you start to feel like, yeah, this is too much. Okay, I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm not getting anything out, but I'm putting everything in. Now, these people criticize and they judge you. Okay, and they can be condescending at sometimes. So they might judge you to the point where you start to question yourself. And that's often what negative people do. They want to put self-doubt in you. Okay, they don't want you to believe in yourself. They want to talk down on your goals and ambitions and dreams. Okay, they criticize you and beat you down, all the while pretending to just be playing or trying to look out for you. That's what they'll say. Let me give you a prime example. Now, I spoke about this briefly yesterday. How I was telling you all on the other channel, I think it was, how a friend of mine was at a job and this person was trying to give them a hard time, and about something that was just so ridiculous. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but basically the person was trying to give them a hard time. And then when they finished trying to give them a hard time, they had the nerve to tell them, yeah, I'm just trying to help you out. I'm just looking out for you. That's a lie. They weren't looking out. Okay, they were trying to be vindictive, and they were also, just trying to regulate things as if they're the boss. But this is what people often do. They try to dictate not only your flow of energy, they try to dictate your mood and your attitude, and then they try, if they can, to control the things that you're able to do. Because you can't be a very productive person when you're full of self-doubt. If you don't even believe in yourself, how can you possibly accomplish the goals and dreams that you have? Okay? Before you realize that you'll have lost all of your motivation and you won't even try. This is what causes many of people to give up. Okay, listening to the naysayers, which is what we should never do. Constructive criticism is one thing that comes from positive people who want to see you do good, who want to see you excel. They want to see you win. But the people who aren't doing anything, that want to hold you back, well, they're going to always have negative things to say. They'll never give you positive reinforcement. That's the last thing they're going to do. Okay, so with that all being said, they criticize you and beat you down, all the while pretending to try, to act like they're looking out for you. If they really wanted to be there for you, however, if they wanted to do it properly, they would do it without hurting your feelings, okay? They want you to question yourself because they enjoy seeing you suffer. This is a real fact. This is how some people that we have in our circle may be doing us. Now, you may not notice it at first. Sometimes, usually when this is going on, people on the outside looking in, like your other friends and family members, they can usually see these things. And then sometimes they'll try to tell us, but we don't want to listen because we're giving these people the benefit of the doubt. Or, they may have done some good things for us too, so we feel obligated to them in some way. Because that's another trick. Okay, people cannot just, be in your life and just constantly be doing negative things all the time and you're going to stay around them. They have to do good things too to fool you. Okay, they're like the people who tell 2 truths and a lie. This is how they operate. Now, the third thing Being around these people brings you down. So when you're around these people, it makes your mood go from good to seemingly bad. It's like they bring out the worst in you. Okay, while you like being friends with them or being in their presence, you try to make the most of it. Sometimes there just isn't much to be holding on to because the friendship really isn't present. The only one being a friend is you. This person's just masquerading, so to speak. And the fourth thing is you feel like there's a lot of tension within the group. If it's a group of people or if it's one person, you may feel the tension in the air. Drama follows them everywhere they go because negativity, this is what fuels drama and chaos. Okay, they love to cause issues with anyone. Anyone that they can find. They don't care who it is. Okay, and they're always talking about other people behind their backs. They never seem to get along with anyone in a good way. Okay, except for people that are constantly giving them things and being the yes men to them and agreeing with everything that they do and say. Anybody who does anything outside of that they feel they get no benefit from, well, they don't have time for that. Okay, and they don't have anything good to say about those people. And the fifth thing is you feel drained after being around these people. So when you spend time with these people or this specific person that may be doing this, they leave you feeling like you need some time to yourself. Okay, you cannot handle being around them all the time and always need to recharge after they've gone because you're so drained. Okay, it's also, they're literally draining the life out of you, whether you can see that or not. These people are definitely energy vampires. Now, the sixth thing is you seem to be much more negative around them than you were prior or when they're not in your presence. And that's because they're so negative. Their negative goes into overtime. And so the negativity starts to rub off on you. You may have been a person who's always happy, optimistic, or you may be feeling that way before they show up. But then all of a sudden, the tide turns, okay? The tide changes. And now your mind dives into the worst of places, okay? And this can happen far too quickly. Let's say, for example, you don't have the money for your car note. And you tell one of these people or this specific person about it, right? Reggie said, I've realized the psychic vampire. Absolutely, beloved. Okay, Jasmine says, preach. Now, you may, for example, be having a financial problem. Like maybe you can't pay your car note or your mortgage, right? And then you go and talk to this person because you think they're your friend and you want to just see what their advice is or hoping that maybe they'll say something to make you feel better because you've really been stressing. But rather than saying something to encourage you, they discourage you. They say something like, well, you're going to lose it, right? Yeah. You're not going to be able to continue to afford it. You may as well just prepare to just let it go. Yeah. This is what some of them will do. All right. This is what some of them will do. And, I had someone like that around me at one time. Okay, years ago, I had a person who I was having financial difficulty because I'd lost my job because I had gotten sick for a while. So I had lost my job. And then so I was concerned about paying my mortgage. And this person told me, they said, well, you're going to lose your house. How are you going to afford your house if you don't have a job? Now, they didn't say to me, let's go to a job fair. Let's go get out here and look for another job. Let's go send off your resume. They didn't say any of that. They didn't say any of that. They didn't say anything about the types of programs that can help you save your home from going into foreclosure if you're experiencing financial difficulty, specifically due to medical complications. They didn't say any of that. They immediately went to, oh, well, you're going to lose it, right? Almost as if they had glee in telling me that, okay? So please pay attention because everybody that smiles in your face, it's not your friend. Some people are haters, sitting on the sidelines, quietly watching and waiting for the opportunity to pounce and spew a whole lot of negativity on you to make you start doubting yourself and to keep you stagnant from elevating any further and hoping that they just kill your dreams and in the process, kill your spirit. Okay? And so you just have to be careful. So the seventh thing is they only want to be around you as it benefits them. You see, these people don't want to spend time with you unless it's something they feel they can gain. Okay, something they can get out of the deal. For instance, if you're making them dinner, sure, they'll come over. If you're driving them somewhere, they're glad to see you, right? If you're doing them a favor, but you call them and ask them to cook you dinner. Call them and tell them that you're hungry. Call them and tell them your car is not working and ask if they can give you a lift to work. They'll have 1,000 excuses 9 times out of 10. Okay, unless you're offering them money for it. You see, they don't want to do things for you for free, which is called favors. They'll do it as long as they're getting something, whether it's gas money or whatever, or whether if you tell them you're going to pay them back double or anything. They have to be getting something out of it. They're not just doing it just to be a thoughtful, kind, considerate person, because that's not the kind of person they are. These people with negative energy, these people that are haters, these people that sit back and want to be pessimistic, how is there ever anything positive coming from them when that's their consistent state of mind? Now, we can all be negative at sometimes, because that's just life. Okay, you have ups and you have downs. You have good and you have bad, happy and sad. We have polar opposites. So that all being said, we can all be negative. But the bottom line is people that are negative on a regular, consistent basis, people that are always whining, grumbling, and complaining, people that are always having something bad to say about everyone else rather than trying to fix the problems going on with them, yeah, those are people you should absolutely distance yourself from. I'm not saying you have to cut them off entirely, but you should limit the time and energy that you give to them, okay, so that you don't get drained. And so their negativity doesn't get stuck on you. And so with that all being said, if you want them to come hang out with you for a while on your break or something, or need a ride somewhere, they're nowhere to be found, just like I said. Okay? And this is just the sad truth of the matter. Likes up, everyone, please. Make sure you get the likes up. Thank you in advance. So with that all being said, Reggie said, I used to be a target for the negative until I started guarding my heart. Absolutely. That's what you have to do. And you also have to set boundaries. Okay. I've told you all before, you have to set boundaries with some people, because some people are nefarious and they will absolutely push your boundaries. Okay. They'll push the limits. They'll go too far. And when they're doing these things, going too far, in many cases, they're just testing you. They're trying to fill you out. They're trying to decipher what you're willing to put up with and what you won't put up with. And if you just allow them to push you over, they'll continue to do so. All right? Because these people really are bullies. But they're not the kind of bullies that'll beat you down with their fists, or that'll knock you down to the ground with their hands. They're the kind of bullies that play manipulative mind games. Okay? So they will bully you mentally, by just talking down on everything that you're trying to do, trying to accomplish, by telling you negative things anytime you have an idea, giving you bad advice if you ask them for it, and all of those things. Everything. And here's the thing, they'll ask you questions. When you want to talk to them about something you're trying to do or something you would like, then they'll start asking you a bunch of questions. And they ask you these questions 9 times out of 10 to make you start doubting yourself. Well, how do you think you're going to do that? Well, but you don't even have the money for it. What makes you think they'll say those sorts of things to you? Because they don't want you to do any of the things that you're trying to accomplish. The people who root for you the loudest, the people who encourage you the most, are people who love you, care about you, and have your best interest at heart. But the sad thing is, sometimes, for some of us, many of us, those are the very people that we treat poorly. Sometimes we treat those people poorly because these are the people that tell us the truth. And sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. And that's just a fact. Okay, Rachel said, don't let them knock you off your square. Absolutely. That's very important. Okay, so with that all being said, Jane says, true talk. They think that because it's a mental thing that it don't count because they didn't hit you physically. Exactly. And here's the thing. Some people they will verbally abuse you. Okay, just outright blatantly verbally abuse you. And that to me is worse than physical abuse in some cases, because the thing is, if someone punches you, the sting is going to eventually go away. But people can literally say words that will stir your soul, that will just break your spirit, that will just hurt your heart. Okay? And that can really make somebody, feel bad for a long time. Some things that are said and done to us, in fact, leave us with years-long trauma. In some cases, especially if you were a child when certain things happened, it can give you a lifetime of trauma at the end of the day. So absolutely, people can bully you, mentally, but that's if you allow them to. And you have to be careful who you tell your business to, your plans and things, because some people will do things to try to stop the things from happening. They'll absolutely, and some of them will steal your ideas and try to beat you to the punch, even though it's something that you came up with and you shared it with them. You have to be very careful of who you spend your time and your energy with, and what sort of things that you give your energy and time as it pertains to focusing on certain things. Don't focus on the negative, even though it's hard sometimes, but always try to look for the positive in everything. Okay. And if something bad happens, it doesn't go your way or whatever, don't feel bad. Don't beat yourself up, because you always, as long as you still have breath in your body, you have another chance, okay, to do it again. So just learn from where it went wrong and try to do better the next time. All right. Reggie said, I know that's right. And Reggie says, I needed this today. Thank you, beloved. Okay. So Jade says the problem is that they actually believe what they're saying themselves as a form of help. Now, that is true also, and I'm glad you brought that up, beloved. Some people absolutely believe what they're saying, okay? Specifically, people who are pathological liars. And, they believe what they're saying because they've lied so much that they start to believe their own lies. But there's some people who really don't mean any harm. They just may not be that intellectually astute or whatever, not that smart. So they actually think that the things they're telling the person is beneficial, when in fact it isn't. So you have to use discernment. That's a very powerful gift that the Most High gave us all. Some of us just don't tend to use it, okay? We all have the gift of discernment. Some of us just let it sit there and collect dust because we don't use it. But you have to start. All right, you got to stay away from these people, because this becomes a repeated behavior on the road to being treated like a doormat. Absolutely, Jane. Absolutely. Samantha says on point. Thank you, beloved. Reggie says so true. Okay, so listen, I hope you all enjoyed this. Don't forget to be paying attention to this broadcast, because you already know Trivia Friday is this week. I'm going to be this weekend, Trivia Friday, and I'm going to be giving away about 3 more ebooks, okay, to the lucky winners. So with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. All right, I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And don't forget to be practicing your positive self-talk, your positive affirmations. And for those of you who are doing there it is, Jane just said it. I was just about to say it, Jane. Said thank you. I want to say that the 369 got me up here like Bart Simpson. Okay? And that's what I was just about to say. Mama Bear Judah says thank you. You're welcome, beloved. You're welcome, Buckhorse DC. So what I was just about to say is, if you're one of my members, or you're one of my subscribers who is doing the 369 methods, then don't forget to be doing this every day. We need to be doing this every day for at least 21 days. And then let's see if there are some changes in your life. If you faithfully do it, and if you stay in a positive frame of mind, and if you focus on the positive as opposed to the negative, I guarantee you, okay, in 21 days, things will be looking up. All right. All you have to do is stay focused and disciplined and go along with the rules of the method. And that includes not allowing naysayers to knock you off your square, like Reggie said. Okay. Jane said, I think I'm on day 5 so far. Okay. Nessie X said, I'm doing it as well. All right. Hey, Aset Rob. With that all being said, you're welcome, Buckhorse DC. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of this day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And I hope to see you all on the next broadcast.